we're going to do that hockey. We're going to iron out them details. I'm your host, Trevor. I'm with my co-host, Zachary Morgan. Zach, how are you doing?
The real deal, Zachy Morg.
No, it's Zachary on the attackery, actually.
That's still bad.
If this is
It's
the
all bad.
intro, I'm going to start off the episode with saying I really, 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 really want to jump off a bridge. I'm doing very well.
Great. And also, Andrew, bowl of pasta tortellini. How are you doing?
You're not going to ask me why I want to jump off a bridge? Wow.
No, I just assumed it's natural. It's November. It's cold,
I'm
dark.
doing well, Trevor. Thank you for asking. I also want to jump off a bridge.
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for asking. I'm chilling. Lots of energy. Ready to go.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I think Andrew and I are ready to talk about hockey as well. And if I can reiterate why he and I are willing to skip to our loo holding hands as we find a bridge. Devils Rangers was yesterday. They played for the first time since the postseason. A lot of emotion, a lot of excitement. Did not get the result that we wanted. What we can take away from that is the Devils played a fantastic game. Jack Hughes returned, and there are things that obviously the team needs to pick up on. The Devils are not where they were last year, and it's apparent. But there's still time to figure out the season. It's young, but the Rangers are going to be a problem. And if they don't come into the next time they play them with a lot more energy, the Devils are in trouble in this rivalry.
The Rangers got the better hand of them they're going to play a bunch of times this season. Chances are that's a playoff matchup.
It's
real. It's going to happen again.
The one thing that killed us more than anything, though, the one thing that killed the Devils, Andrew, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, Vanacek led up some really bad rebounds, and the worst of which led to a VC goal that you could see it happen. It was one of those goals where you see the goal about to happen, but it takes about 5 seconds for that to happen, and the Devils just didn't react.
Those are the worst.
Jimmy VC had all the time in the world to find this puck and put it in on his backhand without looking to win the game.
Yeah, genuinely, that was a terrible goal.
Did Igor Shesterkin let up bad goals? Yeah, Igor Shesterkin was playing at the Rock. He's going to let in bad goals. We've seen that happen. That's his MO when playing the Devils. But you can't allow those bad goals to be equaled. We can take advantage of Igor not playing well against the Devils, which we've seen over the last 6 games he's played. But
that's odd that it's been a 6-game stretch against a team he needs to wake up against. Look, the Rangers have one team in the league they should care about. One. And if your starting goalie can't wake up for a Devils game and be able, the Rangers kind of need Shesterkin to wake up and go, all right, we're winning tonight. I don't care what happens in front of me.
Yeah.
And he has that ability, but it's weird he's gone on such a cold streak against the Devils.
And I understand the Rangers won this game. I'm not trying to take that away. But during the game, I sat Mitch and Kevin, you guys are kind of evil for selling your tickets to Rangers fans, but the guys I sat next to were rather objective and I could talk about them about some of the points in hockey. And you could see it after the first goal. Every time Shesterkin made a save and the puck was stopped, he was checking behind to make sure that he actually had it. Whatever it's worth, he was rattled yesterday. And you're right. He needs to step up. If he's going to win these games, he can't get rattled in these moments. And it's the one team I've seen it happen to him against. The one team.
That's so weird. They're in his head. That series really messed with Shesterkin.
Both of these teams are in each other's heads. Let's be clear.
Oh, yeah. It's such a good rivalry. It's so good.
It's the best rivalry in hockey. The crowd proved it. It was an amazing crowd. Unlike the playoff atmosphere, everyone was in a really good mood. Obviously, Devils fans were not in the best mood, but around me, there's usually that kind of tension of this could escalate if you say the wrong thing. There didn't seem to be any of that. It didn't seem like anyone was trying to do anything more than enjoy a hockey game and maybe cheer a little bit loudly for their team against the other team.
I actually have a story relating to that, Zach, that happened to me recently. I was at a Toronto Maple Leafs game recently. Little lucky me, as they came down to Dallas. I always go see my Leafs when they're here. I got yelled at by Stars fans in the concourse. Very angry people. I got made fun of a lot of times trying to leave that arena because we won. The Leafs won. We beat a
Oh,
good team. Is that correct? The Leafs beat a good team in Dallas.
yes.
That
the
was
Dallas Stars
Dallas's
are a good
first
team.
regulation loss. Is there anything wrong with a few Leafs fans chanting "Go Leafs, go" in the concourse?
No, but you need to understand where you are. It's like Rangers fans who are chanting "Let's go Rangers" and another 3-word chant at the Rock after the game. Yes, you won. Unfortunately, the hockey gods are always watching. As I very clearly learned, they are always watching. So you can use that, yeah, the Devils danced on your grave to your goal song, but chanting F the Devils in our house, there's retribution that comes for that. So I think we're even on the
Someone,
karmic retribution side there. But
someone
you do
yelled
have the right to do that.
first round exit at me, and I'm like, ma'am, 2 points here. One, we got to the second round, so shut the hell up. Okay. Two, everything you say to me, I say 6 inches from a mirror. The amount of times that 1967 was yelled back at us is ridiculous. Ma'am, we know. We know it's bad. Please leave it. Let us have what. Someone was like, some Stars fan walking outside the arena afterwards is like, oh, Toronto's probably going to plan a parade after this one. I looked at it, I said, we probably are. I'm not going to lie.
Lean into it. That's
We're
the
gonna
best
take-
thing you can do. Just lean into how ridiculous
Just
they
lead
are.
it to. I know that we haven't won a cup since '67. It's ridiculous. We are a joke of a franchise 99% of the time. But we came into your building, we played a sound game, and we won. Let us have this, please. But I did meet some really cool Leafs fans. They travel really well. Got some compliments on my jersey. It was
We
a fun
could say
time.
what we want about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Their fans are usually somewhat represented throughout each arena that the Leafs travel to, and
They
there's
travel
for that.
so well.
Andrew, you were
Pittsburgh.
also at the game last night. Was there anything that
Yeah,
you
I
saw
actually
that?
had I was at the game with my dad as a present. He got us like really good seats. We were in the 6th row, section 9. So we were like literally right behind the bench, Devil's bench.
That's awesome.
And you could see, it was awesome until you start looking at the Devils' faces when they're coming off the line shift. Every single one of their faces is like cringing when they walk off that ice.
That's what we want. Let me put it like this.
They're
I want to see
pissed.
effort.
They're pissed.
I want to see
They're
effort.
pissed.
They didn't seem pissed. They seemed sad. They seemed like they knew something was happening that they didn't want to happen, but they didn't seem like, we're going to get even. They were like, oh, man.
At least they're
What are you
bothered by
gonna
it,
do?
though. Because I see some teams get off the ice after giving up a goal, and they're just like, ah, shit, it happened again.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah, that's better. Edmonton.
Andrew, there is something to be said about that kind of, I don't know, atmosphere feeling, because I absolutely felt as soon as I saw the rebound that led to the Jimmy VC game-winning goal, as soon as I saw that happened, that kind of like, it didn't feel like there was going to be much of a successful comeback to that, you know?
Yeah, no, I
That
knew
felt
that,
like a real dagger.
What the worst part about it was, it felt like it happened in slow motion. I was looking at it, I was like, okay, he made the save. And then the rebound comes out, wide open net. And I'm just like, well, even before he puts it in, I'm like, that's it.
And what made it worse is Jimmy VC looked like he was moving in slow motion. The Devils looked like they were frozen in slow motion in that moment. Because I had that exact phenomenon is what I was trying to describe to Trevor while you were getting your food. That exact phenomenon.
It's just, it's over before it even happens.
Yep,
It
exactly.
was a bummer.
The most painful goals are the ones that you know are going in 10 seconds before.
And
they
then
do.
when
When-
the empty netter at the end, when it's a giveaway, we were so close to having it. You can't just throw it on net or throw it in the corner. It's like, come on, man. And also Holt taking 2 penalties in that game that we didn't even take. And a 6-man on ice penalty. I mean, come on. You're playing against your pretty much only rival in the entire NHL, and you're getting a 6-man on ice penalty. What are you doing?
Hold on. I completely agree. That was the worst too many men on the ice. I went into that because it was right before that happened, and then there was a TV timeout. I thought the Rangers were going on the penalty kill. I thought the Devils were going on the power play, and then I realized what happened. And hats off to the Devils for getting that away, but that should have been 2 minutes where you could have been
Yeah,
building or
it's
just doing
ridiculous.
anything but being on the penalty kill that ultimately led to not on the power play, but that did result in a few minutes later Panarin scoring a goal off the faceoff to tie the game. But I'm glad you brought up the refs because they were interesting to say the least all game. My favorite moment during this entire game, Trevor, have you ever seen this happen where a player is called for a 5-minute major,
Oh, this was insane.
called for a 5-minute major penalty that is under review, and then after the review, no penalty at all?
Yes. Actually, I actually like when that's called.
Okay.
Then let me
I
kind
mean, I
of
was
defend
happy because
myself
they made a mistake and they admitted it. I'm
Because,
happy.
okay.
I was blown away.
The
But-
only reason it's called a 5 on the ice is because if they call it as a 2, they can't review it. So if
Okay.
they see something and want to take a second look, they have to call a 5.
And then
So
from
then
there,
they can
you
review.
can call it a 5, review it. You can drop it down to a 2. That makes sense.
Or
Okay.
nothing.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay. Okay.
So
Because
the
that happened
refs
to
actually have
Mikey
a
McLeod.
reason to do it that way.
And the reason
It's
they did
bullshit
it with
when
Mikey
happens.
McLeod, it looked upon first glance that Mikey McLeod, and this is after Jacob Trouba absolutely demolished Thomas Nosek. It looked like Mikey McLeod left his skates to deliver the hit. It looked like he was about to. He didn't. He lifted his one leg up. His other skate was on the ice throughout the contact. So I understand that now a bit more, but the reaction in the crowd was one of bewilderment because in these environments, it's pretty hard to use let logic and calm thought and reason take over sometimes. I can do it against I can do it when the Devils are playing the majority of teams. I'm still struggling with that on the Rangers.
Yeah.
But
It's hard
know,
some nights to watch a game
it's hard.
level-headed.
It's hard, and I can watch a game level-headed from home when I'm with my friends at the game. It's very hard for me to keep that level head sometimes. I mean, for reasons that should kind of explain themselves. But.
See, for me at home, like when I watch the Leafs games at home, I'm usually very level-headed because they've hurt me enough it doesn't hurt anymore, except when they're playing like Boston. For some reason, it's always Boston, it's always Tampa, that it's like, get your act together. This isn't hard. You are better than this.
You don't have
or when they play like a really bad team.
You don't have that feeling against like the Sens or Habs?
The Sens sometimes, but the Leafs have this weird thing against Ottawa where they always play like garbage, so I'm just kind of used to it. Leafs Canadians games for me are just fun because they're usually chaos. There's usually a decent amount of goals. It's back and forth usually, so I kind of have fun watching Habs Leafs games. Boston games, I'm just angry for 2.5 hours. Just angry the whole time. They can win, and I'll find something to be angry about.
That's reasonable. I mean,
I want them to demolish them.
You know what I will say?
8-0.
The last Rangers-Devils game I went to was the second playoff game where we were blown out 5-1.
Oh, my God.
So, although this game ended 5-3, I am happier with this result than I am with the other game I went to.
Oh, my God.
And I'll take it.
That game 2 game. I don't know if I told the story on the podcast. I know I've told this story before, and it kills me because I got the player's name. But I took the same family friend that I invited with me to this game. I took him with me to game 2. He is a Rangers fan, but this is someone who has taken me to a number of sporting events throughout my entire life. The 2011 Week 17 game, Giants-Cowboys, win and you're in, that led to the Giants going to win the Super Bowl. He took me to that game. So I've always wanted to, if the opportunity came, I wanted to return that favor. That opportunity came when the Devils played the Rangers in the first round last year. I made it happen. During this game, I immediately regretted everything I've ever done in my life and questioned what I was doing. For context, we'll call my Uncle Woody is he's a difficult person to be around, and he knows how to push buttons. And he's not really
Oh, I
difficult. I
love
love
those
him.
people.
Yeah, no, he's great. So, it's a good ribbing back and forth. But that last goal they scored in game 2 to make it 5-1 was a Chris Kreider power play goal. And Woody, as soon as he saw the Chris Kreider power play goal, was going off about how great Chris Kreider was and how for the longest time the Flyers had this guy who was an immovable force in front of the net, just an immovable object, a big mass that could not be disturbed on the power play and was just a monster, a menace. And finally, the Rangers had that guy. I said it. It was Chris Kreider. And the entire time he's going on this rant, I'm sitting there. Every decision I've made over the last few weeks is weighing heavily on me. Everything I've done that day. What did I do wrong? Am I wearing the wrong shoes? Am I wearing the wrong underwear? What have I done wrong to allow this situation to happen? And he will not shut up about Chris Kreider. That is the only playoff game I left early. That is the only playoff game I left early. I sat through all of game 1. We left game 2 early.
I think that's totally reasonable. I would have left far before the 5th goal.
Kill me.
I mean,
Oh God. But
I don't leave a game early. Y'all are nerds.
no, me and my dad do
I'm
it.
there till final.
Me and my dad do it sometimes just so we can do the joke where we're down by 4 goals in the last minute. We leave with 30 seconds left, and I'm like, man, it sucks that we lost. And my dad's like, we don't know.
I love that.
They could have came back.
Hey,
we left with a minute left.
I have had that exact situation happen. The Devils were playing the Flyers like just before the pandemic, and that 19-20 season was particularly awful. We had just traded Blake Coleman. The mood around the fan base was not particularly high, and the Devils go down to the Flyers 4-1 at like the beginning of the 3rd period. I say, that's it. I'm not watching this movie again. I'm out. I'm done. I'm leaving. I'm out. I will see you guys at the next one. I said this loudly, by the way. This was a loud, very emotionally charged outburst. Said goodbye to my friends. Walked out the door. Naturally. They may have been down 3-1 at this point, honestly. I'm not sure. But the Devils managed to come back and win. So I've been in that moment. I've been there where it's just like, I can't take it anymore. Let's see if removing me solves the problem.
I miss Coleman.
I call it seat math. There are times during a game where you're away from your seat and the Devils score. I guess that sucks. I guess you got to stay in the bathroom for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
That's where you clearly need to be if the Devils scored there.
You're one of those.
I get really fun with the superstition logic. It's mostly fun, but it results in me emailing my rep all these fun things like, hey, I think seat 1 is cursed. Do you think we can do an exorcism real quick?
I remember this story. I think the story made the podcast, I'm pretty sure.
This story did
you
make the
emailed your ticket sale representative to please do an exorcism on a certain seat.
We still have them on speed dial, according to my rep, and I have no reason to believe he's lying to me. Chris is a great man. Takes care of me.
There is 100% enough Catholic priests in the New Jersey area that are fans of the Devils that are like 100%. I'm there.
Oh, we're
getting rid of this.
We're in Newark, baby. We're right by New York City. Any one of them, we got them all. There's someone very close by. It's just a matter of how close by are they. But the access.
We have them on speed dial.
The access is there.
Yep, it's all that matters.
Indeed. So now that we've spent about 20 minutes waxing poetically about that, why don't we move into some less poetic things to wax about? Or we can keep the mood well, and let's talk about...
Can I just say one more thing?
Sure.
I miss a lot of the players from the pre-pandemic team. I know it's like some of them are just not good to have on your team, but like PK Subban, Pavel Zacha, Blake Coleman, I miss a lot.
They were instrumental in building this, though.
It's a trade-off. I loved PK Subban as a Devil. For
it
what
just made me so happy. Like we wouldn't win, but like I was happy to be a part of the fandom.
it was the first time in a long time having PK Subban on the team getting attention from around the league. Just even though it wasn't the best, even though it was mostly off ice attention, which was good, it put the Devils on the map.
Yeah.
Without PK Subban, Dougie Hamilton doesn't come to New Jersey. That is fact. There's no way it happens because
it was, look at the juggernaut they're building. I remember the hype around the Subban coming to the Devils, and
oh man,
it was the free agent they got.
2019,
overseas.
that was the year they got PK Subban for a second rounder. They drafted Jack Hughes first overall, and I think
It was
that
a Russian they signed.
No, it
It was
wasn't.
super exciting.
Oh
Will
yeah, they
Butcher
got
was
Nikita
at the same
Gusev.
time.
They got Nikita Gusev.
Yeah.
The rights to Gusev, who was great the first year and just didn't work out. But yeah,
It didn't pan out. It's fine. It's an overseas player. It happens.
it happens. Some
Oh,
of it,
Man, that's crazy.
yeah.
Blake Coleman, as soon as he left the Devils, became a 2-time Stanley Cup champion.
Yeah.
Wait, went to Tampa.
Well, the Devils took care
I
of
didn't even
Blake.
think about that.
The Devils took care of Blake Coleman. We can say a
They
lot.
did him right. That's respectable. They did him right.
Did they do the same for Taylor Hall? No, but Taylor Hall didn't give what Blake Coleman gave.
Screw
And
that guy.
Taylor Hall won an MVP. Like, if you who put in more heart to those Devils teams, it really shouldn't be close. Consistently, Blake Coleman. Taylor Hall gave his all and carried us to the playoffs that 1 year, but Blake Coleman, night in, night
Was
out,
the soul of the team.
yeah, that hurt.
Yeah.
That trade hurt more than the Taylor Hall trade.
That's fair. Zach,
but-
let's keep the happy.
Yeah,
going.
let's keep it happy for now.
Let's keep the happy going.
So, Trevor, as a
Mhm.
who do you think is currently leading the league in points? Or Andrew, if you're not paying attention to.
It
Isn't
wasn't
it the three?
It
Oh wait, did we already talk about this pre-pod?
no.
Somewhat.
Yeah,
Somewhat.
somewhat. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
okay.
Jack Hughes. It was Jack Hughes. Little shout
Before-
out. But
I
Jack,
think it
before
still
you-
would have been if he wasn't out.
Yeah.
Honestly.
oh, he 100% still. Would
Oh,
be
by
in
the
league.
way, he scored. I
He
don't
did
know if we
score.
mentioned
He
that.
scored he scored the first goal for the Devils.
First game
so-
back, he scored.
Yeah, so
I mean,
Jack Hughes would be the leader in points if he did not get injured in St. Louis. That is what would be the truth. I'm in agreement
But-
there.
I believe it's Elias Pettersson.
Close.
Pettersson.
Elias Petter.
It is
Elias
not
Petter-
JT Miller. Please, dear God, tell me it's not JT Miller. He is
So
not
we
in
have
the
a
league.
three-way tie for the league lead in points scored right now between Elias Pettersson, JT Miller, and Quinn Hughes, all with 28 points.
That is so many points already. So many.
Trevor, were we wrong about the Canucks? Were we wrong to bash the JT Miller?
You know what?
I'm sorry, the Bo Horvat trade. Was that wrong of us?
Zach, as a grown man, I've learned the ability that one of the most valuable skills you can have as an adult is being able to go, hi, I made a mistake, and I'm ready to move on from that mistake and acknowledge my sins, my mistakes and my blunders. And my blunder was saying that JT Miller is a sad, embarrassing excuse for a hockey player, and the Canucks should just fold. I was wrong. Very wrong. Because it turns out JT Miller might be Mario Lemieux. He might be. Like, I don't know.
Okay. I'm gonna stop you there.
Stop me now.
I don't think I took that level of criticism to JT Miller, but let me be clear. I did not think that he would be able to put up this level of production that we are seeing from him. I did not think he had that in him.
I didn't think it was nearly possible. I think it's hard for a player who is that bad at one end of the ice to be that productive at the other.
And
I think it's legitimately hard.
And I don't know if the Canucks were correct to trade Bo Horvat instead of JT Miller. I still don't think that. It's so hard.
That was not a decision. That was not a decision. They could not trade JT Miller because he was so unfathomably bad last year.
That's fair.
With a contract so large, they could not trade him.
That's
Except
fair.
Pittsburgh tried. Pittsburgh tried and probably got a GM fired for trying.
Probably. But it just seeing Bo Horvat return to Vancouver a week or so ago, the tears in his eyes, like that.
It was an emotional moment.
That hurt. But it is what it is.
Good for Vancouver, though. They just pulled this
Great
out of
for
their ass
Vancouver.
for some reason.
Great for
They're
Vancouver.
good.
And great for JT Miller. Because if I'm being honest with you, seeing Quinn Hughes and Elias Pettersson at the top of that list, you could have convinced me, and I would have said that's reasonable. Those are two very, very skilled players. JT Miller I would not have even put on the radar of that possibility.
No,
Hats off to the Vancouver Canucks. They're playing better than I ever could have expected for just right off the rip.
it's he managed to pot 32 goals last year. JT Miller.
What?
Were we just genuinely too hard on JT Miller
I
last
think we
year?
were hard on. I think we were hard on JT Miller because of his contract, because he's making $9.5 million, something to that effect.
There's no way. Zach, there's no. I am pulling it up right now. There is no way that you are right on that.
Oh no, it's $8 million. Excuse me.
Okay, that's still rough for how bad he was defensively.
Yeah, no, it's $8
Like,
million.
it was
I'm sorry.
embarrassing. Yeah.
Why do I think 9.5? I don't know. Anyway,
God, if he made 9.5, they should still consider moving him.
no, yeah.
But like, were we too hard on JT Miller and the rest of the Canucks? Definitely.
Everyone
Were they
except
fun
Quinn.
to make fun of? Oh, because future New Jersey Devil Quinn Hughes. Well, it'll be such a fun time for Team
It would
USA.
be so fun.
It's gonna be so fun on Team USA.
The Hughes Kachuk. It's gonna be great.
The Hughes Kachuk connection is just scary. We were too hard on them, yes, but they were also a perfect example of everything going wrong at the same time. From because last year was the Bruce Boudreau thing, JT Miller like screaming at his own goalie during play, some of the most awful defensive tactics I've ever seen exhibited on a National Hockey League ice surface, all kind of bundled together to make JT Miller our voodoo doll of just he is the problem. I'm glad to see he's scoring points. He's ensuring an NHL job. He signed until 2030, so he better find a way to keep this going or it's going to get worse. But Quinn, we expect this from. We expect him to be a top scoring defenseman in the league every year.
Yeah.
Pedersen, I sometimes forget just how good he is and how talented he is.
He was top 10 in points last year, was he not?
If not, he was close. But like, he is truly, I think he gets overlooked because of the market that he's in. Even though it is a Canadian market, it's a Western Canadian market on a team that's pretty bad, usually. And he's very quiet, so he's just not. He's not the guy you slap on things. But he is stupidly talented. When I saw that he was like top 5 in fantasy, I was in awe. But he has every right to be there. Whoever got Pedersen in our league is killing it.
Absolutely. And I just looked it up. Pedersen was 10th in points last year with points scored, 102 points in 80 games.
He was a 100-point guy.
100-point guy.
And it's going to go up this year.
And it's based on the fact that he's got 28 through 15, 16 games. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that. 100%.
Yeah, let me see how many games they've played.
Barring injury, of course.
18 games, 28 points.
Yeah, barring injury. Yeah. That's
100, probably reaching 120. I'd say is a realistic mark for him.
Put it like this: 102 points. That's 20 points over what would be a point per game pace if you're playing 82 games. He played 80, so he had give or take a point per game with 22 multi-point games. I think he can put up more than 22 multi-point games in the remaining amount of time this year. He will shatter that 102 points.
Unless they wake up and just suck.
Unless he gets injured. That's the only way that
injury
stops.
is a big thing too. Oh gosh, the Canucks are fun. It's so good to see the Canucks because that team was just draining last year. Like them and Winnipeg both were just pits of sadness. Winnipeg, in my head, still is a pit of sadness, but at least one of them.
I was gonna say it definitely still feels like
Winnipeg is still sad. But look, Canucks turned it around, especially with the downfall of the Edmonton Oilers, which at some point we should probably do a deep dive into the dumpster fire that's been their team so far this year. The Canucks might win a division. Like, accidentally stumble and fall and win a division off of JT Miller's 100-point season.
Is this an accident? Is that an accident, though? I mean, I feel like this is kind of what they planned.
They traded their captain and got better. It's weird the way they got here.
Well, I was going to make a comparison with the Devils. Surprise, surprise. But I mean, they had like a 60-point increase in the season. I don't know. I wasn't calling that an accident.
No,
Personally.
that was part of the plan. Quite
So
frankly, that
It's
was a
like
season late. If you ask some fans,
they made trades like they were giving up on this core, and they got better. It's like unless Bo Horvat was really like just didn't mesh. But Bo Horvat's a good player. He was good in Vancouver.
Bo Horvat was Vancouver. Like
He was.
he was the
It
face of
seems
that
like
franchise.
he left on good terms. It was fine. But like, I wish I knew what was going on in that locker room.
Yeah,
Last
that
year.
was someone who wanted to spend the rest of his career in Vancouver and is now on Long Island, which
God help him.
yeah,
Please.
I mean,
agree with
it
that.
doesn't matter who you are, or where you're playing. If you end up in Long Island, even as a regular person, it's not a treat.
Anyone who's played for Lou Lamoriello would tell you don't play for Lou Lamoriello.
Yeah.
But Zach, while we're talking about Pettersson, can we stay on the topic of Sweden?
Surely
Transition
we can.
So,
So
William Nylander, fellow Swede, William Nylander might be the best player in the world.
okay, you're stretching it a bit, but he may be the best player in Sweden right now. That's something I'm willing to concede.
He's one of the best players on the planet right now. You
Yeah.
will not. It's somehow we texted about this yesterday, Zach. That William Nylander wakes up every day and simply does not give a single damn that he plays in the National Hockey League. He will ride the subway to a game, and then he will just show up about 10 minutes before puck drop, throw on his pads, score 2 points, and go home every night.
And that rules.
It's crazy.
I mean, did you see the picture of him on the subway next to the guy in the Leafs hat?
Yes.
That was so funny.
Because he forgets to account for traffic. So if he drives, he would be late.
It's just
so he has
funny.
to take the subway.
He's just a guy.
It's crazy. So the NHL's smart and decided to take the Leafs, who are very, very popular in Sweden because of Börje Salming and now William Nylander, two very popular players, march them over to Sweden with Detroit, Minnesota, and Ottawa, I believe, were the four that played in the Global Series. The Leafs went 2-0 while we were there. We got to see Matt Sundin. We got to see Börje Salming's son, who I'm blanking on his name at the moment. The Global Series, wow, it was kind of weird times to watch in the States. Like, I'm Central Time. It's weird for a Leafs game to start at 7 in the morning. Whatever. It's fine. It was cool that we got to do it. It was awesome. The building seemed electric. I think the NHL actually knocked it out of the park with this. But Matthews was asked a question afterwards of where he would like to see the Global Series go next. And his
the most obvious answer he could have given. I mean, come on.
Mexico City.
I mean,
Mexico City is screaming for Leaf stars. It's just perfect.
You're asking for Leaf stars knowing you're gonna get like Leafs Coyotes, right? Or no, I'm sorry, Coyote stars. You know that, right?
No, see, no. What they're gonna do is they're gonna take a handful of teams. It's gonna be Dallas, Arizona, Toronto, and probably LA.
Yeah, that sounds right.
To me, that's how you do it.
LA's definitely
the one exception there. If you don't want to do Toronto, you sub in Vegas. That's what makes sense.
See, but I think if the NHL's smart,
if the NHL's smart, they're going to put Austin Matthews in Mexico City. But I don't know if
you have to. No, but Gary Bettman's really pushed the whole Austin Matthews is an Hispanic player that is the best player in the world. They've really pushed that. They've pushed his Hispanic heritage. They're going to continue to do that. The Leafs are going to Mexico City if they do that. Now, the Leafs might not be happy about having to do this 2 seasons in a row. Probably not. I wouldn't be. It's a lot of travel, but it is the Leafs. They're worth like $2 billion.
But let me be clear. I understand what you're saying, but you can't convince me that traveling to Sweden is the equivalent to traveling to Mexico.
You lose home games.
You lose home games, sure, which, believe me, the Devils lost a home game this year. I'm well aware of that fact, but
yeah. It's good marketing for them. I don't think it really affects
the NHL needs marketing, and Austin Matthews in Mexico, that is what needs to happen if that's the route you go.
And for Arizona, they'd be so happy because they could have more than 5,000 people at a home game. Everyone wins. Everyone wins. Mexico City, it's just perfect. I can't wait for them to ruin it and go to like Berlin.
Is there a facility in like a facility in Mexico City that would be able to host a game to that effect?
You could
Yeah,
do
I'm
something,
sure.
I think.
Okay.
Could you theoretically do it outdoor? Is there anything saying you can't?
No, you can do it outdoor. Why not?
Climate.
Oh, if you're doing it in January, it's cold.
I mean, if you do it in January, February, I don't see why not. But there's a lot that would have to. There's a lot.
We
that
did
would
the
need to happen.
stadium series in Dodger Stadium. We've done an outdoor game at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. I don't think.
Oh, they did do the Cotton Bowl, so maybe it is possible. Okay.
Yeah.
They did do the Cotton Bowl.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with. It gets cold enough, and the technology's there to keep it. It may not be the best ice in the world.
We put a man on the moon. I'm almost positive we can have ice in Mexico.
Allegedly. Anyway.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I'm glad
From
you
Wrinkles in the Crease, the moon landing was not real. That's our official stance on it.
I agree.
The moon landing wasn't real. Yeah. As a show, that's our statement. Not as individuals.
As individuals, talk to me after
Can we
the show.
circle back to the Canucks real quick?
100%.
The next game
Please get me off
is San Jose versus Vancouver.
Oh.
I'm just saying, sleeper pick, San Jose.
I'm just gonna level with you here on that sleeper pick. The last time these two teams played, one team scored 10 goals. The other team did not score close. Oh, they did score one. They did score one.
Was it one or two?
It was one.
It was one because the next game, the next night, they only scored 2 and gave up 10 again. Andrew, I'm going to fight you on this because I think hockey is a sport in which anyone can win any night. Right? Upsets are something that happens in hockey. You are stupid for putting any money on the San Jose Sharks this year.
That's not true.
Zach,
you're stupid for putting.
We're
any money on
detouring to the Sharks
to win.
Okay, yes, thank you. We're gonna detour to the San Jose Sharks. This may be the worst team ever assembled. Like, we are talking Atlanta Thrashers expansion level bad.
Oh, you're diving right past the 2017 Colorado Avalanche. You're just going right for the Thrashers.
To this is bad. This is brand new head coach going and go, I don't know, man. They can't score. They can't defend. We can't stop a beach ball. The team has absolutely no talent. Somehow we're in cap hell. I don't know why.
That's not true. They
none
don't
of these
have
players.
No talent. I will not let you say that about Fabian Zetterlund.
Yeah,
Okay,
how dare you?
name
Actually,
three?
Fabian Zetterlund is a great man.
I won't let you say it. And you know what? Mackenzie Black. The two people holding that team together are former Devils. I will tell you that right now. Mackenzie Blackwood, even though he let in a soft lob from the blue line.
I was about to say that weird angle. It was that weird angle into the lights. He lost it in the lights.
Even though he let in a soft lob from the blue line. The only two people keeping that team together are Zetterlund and Blackwood.
Guys, they're bad.
Fabian Zetterlund.
How many?
I think he's tied with Timo Meier in goals right now. If not, Timo Meier's only ahead by like 1. Did the Sharks?
And now Timo's out, so we lost that trade.
As of right, and we did not lose that trade.
We lost the trade. We lost that trade. We should have kept Zetterlund and let them have Timo.
Okay, there's a player on the Sharks, and I want your opinion on it.
Okay.
He took a gamble that we've never really seen before.
Okay.
The player basically terminating their own contract as a top-level pick, taking a bet on himself for less money to try to turn his career around with the San Jose Sharks.
Oh, God. I feel
like Philip Zadina make a serious mistake?
Yes, he did. I didn't even realize he made that mistake. 100%. What are you doing? Was he not in Detroit?
Yes, he was.
What are you doing? What happened? What happened?
Detroit was going to send him back down to the A. Detroit didn't want him, but he was going to make bank off his contract still. But they were going to send him down, I'm pretty sure. But
6th overall in 2018. Oh man, he really took a shot in himself. Oh boy.
Look, do you want to know how well he's done? Impressively. Philip Zadina deserves a round of applause for somehow managing a game-winning goal on this year's San Jose Sharks.
What's
I didn't
he
even
doing?
know the Sharks did those.
17 games, 3 goals, 2 assists with a -15.
Okay, but that
The plus minus on this team means nothing. It's
Yeah,
going to be
yeah,
negative
that's-
30 for everyone by the time the
What
year
was
ends.
This
didn't
is
Erik
like
Karlsson have a
Monopoly.
negative plus minus last year?
Who?
Carlson, the guy who won the
Oh, 100%.
that trophy, the Norris.
Yeah, with 100
Anyway.
points.
I'm sorry. Sorry to cut you off there.
But like Philip Zadina took a risk on his entire career. Like career-altering decision. Like this is I am betting my entire professional hockey career on this. And you ended up on this year's Sharks.
we need him on the Devils. I think. I think maybe he should come to the Devils. You know how on
Why?
the
Do you
the
want him?
Statue of Liberty, how the thing that it says is like, give me your
Give me
Give me
liberty
your
or give me
weak.
death.
give me your tired, give me your sick.
Oh, different thing.
I think that's the Devil. That should be the Devils. We will rehabilitate any bad player who bets on themselves.
Yeah, but it was a stupid bet.
Who have the Devils rehabilitated in that sense?
That's none of your damn business, Zach.
Okay. I just wanted to know
The
if you had a player
Devils-
off the top of your head. I'll look
You
into
know
it when we're done.
The
But
Devils have rehabilitated Zach's mental health. That's
I don't
about
know
all
about that.
they've
Yeah.
done.
I don't know about that.
They've helped. They've helped.
They've done
'Cause
something.
You're happier watching
Am I?
games now than you were
Yes.
2 years ago.
That is true. That is true. I'm
They
objectively
give you
happier.
at least 82 nights a year where you're a little happier than those 82 nights a year you were before.
You know
I
what?
wouldn't
The next
say
time,
I wouldn't say 82. I would say maybe 50 on a good year.
That's still
which we
50
don't
nights a
have
year.
a lot of.
It's a new era.
if the Devils, genuinely speaking, if the Devils make me a happy man 50 nights out of the year, that's a good year. That's a good year.
That's a really 50 good games in a season. Hell yes.
And you don't even need to win all those games in regulation. Like,
No.
but
Look, even the best teams in the league are going to give some stinkers. Like, I can guarantee Tampa's had a lot of games the last few years where their fans are just pissed.
Okay, but what's the threshold? What's at what game number are we starting to go, okay, this is a problem?
I think Christmas. I don't think it's game. I think it's
some people say Canadian Thanksgiving or American Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving. Yeah.
American Thanksgiving
American
is the
Thanksgiving.
threshold where if you're not in the
if you're not in the race, that's where I'm gonna say
right.
that window between
I think that's
Thanksgiving
too
and
early.
Christmas. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, that's kind of where you can American Thanksgiving and Christmas is that window where
But
you can figure it out.
I think the date is closer to Christmas than Thanksgiving. Christmas might be a little late, but we're only 20 games in. Like, if you're not in the race, you can still fix it. But if you're like the Sharks, this season's a write-off. You're not doing anything. The bad teams are bad. The really good teams are good. The middle ones haven't been sorted out
I'm
yet.
just
By
saying,
Christmas, I think they will be.
I think the Sharks could theoretically still have the best season in NHL history. I mean, if they go on like
No, they couldn't. They've already lost too many games.
Oh, have they really?
Yeah,
They might have.
Well,
they're not last year's Bruins. They can't. Excuse me.
well,
What was the Bruins' record last year, Zach? Can you pull that up?
it was
for me?
wasn't it like
I'm actually curious.
66 wins and something else.
That,
66
did they set the
wins, like
record
10,
for
11
wins and
losses.
Points or just points?
Wins and points, I believe.
There
I just want to know how many losses they had, essentially.
They were 65, 12, and 5.
Okay, so the Sharks have already lost more games in regulation than the Bruins did last year.
God damn.
It's the week of Thanksgiving.
That is just absurd. I don't even know what to say to that.
That's just... It brings me joy. Brings me a serious level of joy.
Trevor Neal, known Sharks hater. Wow.
I
Hater-
like the Sharks.
Hater of
I think they have
teal.
such pretty jerseys.
Hater
I
of
love the
Neal.
teal.
Shader.
I've been
Unreal.
to San Jose, and I've always complimented the billboards the Sharks had on highways at the time that said, "We encourage collisions." I thought that was a good idea for a billboard to advertise your hockey team. I think that's a good idea. Are they a good team, though? No. They should stop encouraging collisions if that's all they're focusing on.
Well, all right then.
Yeah.
Speaking of encouraged collisions, Patrick Laine kind of set himself up for a collision course, in a way,
With the press box.
with the press box.
There you go.
Yes. Patrick Laine
Um,
will be a healthy scratch tonight. The second overall pick in 2016, the person who was selected right after Austin Matthews. 2 goals, 1 assist in 9 games.
Yep.
The decline of who this player has been over the past few years is astonishing. But Trevor, you've got a quote?
Do you remember when he scored 5 goals in Finland? Do you remember how special that was?
Do you
His
remember?
first or second year.
Do you remember the first time him and Matthews played each other?
Special.
That
He made a statement.
the
that he should have run
game-winning hat trick goal in overtime against the guy who was taken before you. That
Yep,
was
special.
That was a moment.
Special. So before I get into the quote, I did learn some background. So this is actually the 2-year anniversary of Patrick's father's passing. So that I think that actually does play a
more of a role.
factor.
Okay.
Okay, but then here's the quote from, is it Pascal Vincent, the head coach of the Blue Jackets? Is that his name? Am I getting that correct?
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
That sounds about correct.
He said,
not
I know
Babcock.
what he can do on... Yeah, it's definitely not Babcock. I know what he can do on the ice. I know his potential. He's not happy about the decision. Don't get me wrong. Right now, Patty needs to take a deep breath, go back to the working lab and get his touches back, get his shot back, get his confidence back so he can be the Laine we all know he can be. It was a hard conversation, but nobody is bigger than the Blue Jackets. To me, that does not sound like a player taking a night off for mental health. That sounds like it may play a factor, but this player is in his head and has been.
And to be honest with you, this is coming the same week as Johnny Gaudreau being benched, I believe, on Thursday. Yes, Johnny Gaudreau did not play the last 6 minutes, 15 seconds of the game against the Coyotes, and Laine sat for the final 9 minutes, 53 seconds. So this could be a message that's trying to be sent down the entire lineup that you're not playing well enough.
Now is if you're a new coach, now is the time to send messages.
100%.
You're not making the playoffs, so really you have the opportunity to kind of set your standards without having too many consequences for it. Like, you can sit Laine. No problem. Hell, sit Gaudreau. I don't care. Make a statement. You play this way here.
Does the timing of the Babcock incident make what's going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets this year kind of a wash, just based on how late the coaching change happened?
For the first half of the year, yeah, but you need to see, I think if you're a Blue Jackets fan, you just need to start seeing, okay, we have a new coach. What do I need to, why am I excited this guy's coaching my team? I need to see that soon. If he's setting a high standard like this early, I think that's actually a good sign. I don't care what your paycheck says. I don't care what it says on the back of your jersey. If you're not giving 110% when you're on the ice, you're not going on the ice. I don't care who you are. I like that from a coach. Now, if I'm a GM, I don't like that as much. I'm paying Laine almost $9 million for another 2 years. I don't like him sitting in the press box with me. But from a fan's perspective, yeah, let's sort this shit out. Like, we want Laine to work as a Blue Jacket. I think everyone kind of does. They want Gaudreau to work out there. They kind of need them both to. They really do.
Yeah.
The coach is just, I don't know, I think he's kind of setting themselves up for success later on. There's going to be some growing pains. Laine is a player that might just need a healthy scratch every few weeks. Like, he's had attitude problems. He's had effort problems. He's had all of the mental problems a player can have that kind of comes out publicly. The lack of effort style of problem Laine's exhibited since he was an early Winnipeg career. It's been a problem since he was a rookie. Remember the whole Fortnite thing with him?
Yes, I do.
Man, I'm staying up all night playing Fortnite. Like,
oh man, I forgot. Yeah,
it's totally valid though. I mean,
well, I mean,
do you think Fortnite OG did just come back. Do you think that is
Do you think that's
directly
why he's getting a
tied?
healthy scratch? Do you think that's
Yes, I think
100%
it's
plausible.
tied.
I mean, I don't know. I'm tempted to
So
now
funny.
hearing that. I'm tempted to go back and visit Tilted Towers myself. I only know the OG Fortnite map, so
Imagine like you're playing Fortnite during a like you got the Blue Jackets game on the background, and you get killed by P Line A29, and you're like, wait a second.
wait a minute,
Like,
sir. Aren't you in the press box? I didn't
Oh,
realize I could
Lord.
bring you one of those in the.
He's playing on his phone. Like,
That would be awesome if you queue up duos and the other guy on the mic sounds suspiciously like Patrick Laine, and you're like, hold on, wait a second. That's good. That reminds me of
you
the time
hear a
Miles
goal
Wood got
horn
caught
go off
in
in the
the.
background.
Oh my god.
That reminds me of the time Miles Wood got sent off for a game misconduct, and they saw him on X watching
Oh my god.
a crypto talking space during the third period of the game.
During the game.
That was
Are
so
you
funny.
serious?
Yes. Miles Wood.
Please tell me this story.
No, it's not. Miles Wood, for various portions of last year, when Twitter circles became a thing, every now and then you would see him, like, oh, M Wood listening to based crypto news 2023 or
Yeah.
2022, something to that
Mhm.
effect. And it without fail, like once a week, I would go on Twitter and I would see that happen. And it happened during a game last year, and someone caught it and screenshot it, and it went a little bit viral.
So funny.
That's so during a game in which he got kicked out of.
Yes,
Yeah.
He was listening to.
yes.
He was in
Clear his head,
the
he was
lineup
he was
for a National Hockey League game, and before the end of the game, he was listening to a Twitter space
well, he got kicked
on
out.
crypto.
He got kicked out, and he was really upset.
He couldn't
So
have waited until after the game.
No, he needed to clear his head right then and there.
If
Otherwise,
I'm
he was
a
going to go fight
coach,
whoever.
I walk up and just get the hell off Twitter, please. I did not hear. I've never heard this story before.
Oh yeah, no,
it's
This has made my day.
it
just
somehow
makes me
didn't
so happy.
make news. It was just something that you saw on Devil's Twitter. If you saw it, great. If you didn't,
Yeah.
and boy, did we see it.
I love that.
Which,
I
by
love
the way,
that.
I don't care. I still miss him.
He's
That's
doing
Oh,
well.
Miles Wood.
He's doing really well. He's
Yeah.
lining up.
Yeah, he's doing
Love
a
Miles
little
Wood.
too well. That was not the Miles Wood that was on our team.
Trade him
No,
back.
give it time. We've already seen Damon Severson fail to remove the puck from his own zone. Miles Wood will start crashing into goalies left and right if he hasn't already. Like, it's a tale as old as time.
Well, someone's gotta.
Yeah, that was Miles Wood's specialty.
If you
Miles Wood,
can't get a puck past, you need to put some in the net. I don't care if it's a puck, if it's a glove, if it's a stick, if it's a person. Miles Wood made sure that at least once every 10 games,
something went in
someone's
net.
going in the net.
Yeah. And you know what? Jack Hughes may have been the Devils' fastest skater last year, on his feet. Miles Wood was the fastest player on the ice last year when you don't count any, what he has to be on. Like, he was
Yeah.
just the fastest. Flying through the air, Miles Wood was faster. He was great.
I absolutely agree.
Was Miles? Every team has one guy that you're watching and go, "Oh, you're laying on the ice again." Every team has that one player that you're like, "Oh, you fall down twice a shift." For Dallas, it's Mason Marchment. For the Leafs, for some reason, Matthew Nyes is on the ice every shift.
The Devils, that player for the Devils is Jack Hughes.
I was just going to say.
Name for me a better
very
rivalry in hockey: Jack Hughes versus the ice at the Prudential Center.
Yeah,
It's the funniest thing because he'll make a move that he dog walks the defenseman, just goes around the world, doesn't lose possession of the puck. That same shift, he will just slip inexplicably on nothing. It's beautiful. It's artwork.
Happens.
It does.
It's weird how often that happens with NHL players. They just
It
slip.
is weird. Miles Wood, though, he was the player where if once a game he was going to crash into the other team's goalie once a game and end up in the net.
I love that though.
Yeah,
He's determined.
It's good to know your role. It's good.
And sometimes he had the puck with him. Unfortunately, he didn't always have it, but occasionally he did have the puck with him, and it went in.
It did.
Sometimes it goes in.
Okay.
He goes to the net.
All right, we got time for one more topic. So, which
Milan
one?
Lucic.
Beautiful. So Friday night, Milan Lucic was arrested on what were reported domestic violence charges, as reported by CBS Sports. Let me just bring it over here.
Bastard.
Sources have sold the what is that? CBS Boston team that Milan Lucic's wife called 911 when her husband allegedly attacked and choked her. According to sources, Lucic appeared to be drunk when they responded. For the morning following the arrest, it was announced that Milan Lucic would be taking a leave of absence from the team. And that's kind of what led people down the path of finding out about the arrest. And we've been learning about the details as they come. I need to make it clear it is important that everything is alleged. CBS did report it, but who knows? It could come out to be something very different.
We don't have details for you. Does the article you have up have the Marchand quote? And if so, can you read it? I just think it's a good quote. I like what he said on there.
Yes.
Should be towards the bottom. Yep.
Yes, it does. Brad Marchand expressed his concern for the Lucic family. I'm reading the article at this point. It's tough to see your teammates and your friends going through stuff like this and their family. Definitely worried about Britt and the kids and Luch himself, but they all have all the support in the world. Anything they need, we are going to be here for them. So
it's concerning.
Based captain.
He said her first.
Yes.
But that's concerning.
It's concerning for the...
It's the right thing to say.
Yes.
It's the right thing to say. But that tells me that what happened is not good.
Yeah, the implications there are not good at all. I can agree with that.
No. And Zach, we have this question in here. He's only played 4 games so far this year, so this is a fringe NHL player at best. He is on the Boston Bruins because his name is Milan Lucic and no other reason. Is he ever stepping foot on the ice in the NHL again?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think he does.
I don't know. It's very tough to see. It's tough to say. I mean,
the only way he does is if it was a misunderstanding kind of call, but I don't think it was.
No, I don't think you can gloss over this incident with this is a misunderstanding. I think
if a neighbor called, different. Maybe things got heated and they yelled.
It's alleged in the report that what is it? I believe Britt
his wife called, right?
His wife called.
His wife did call.
According to CBS.
Yeah, he's not playing again. Remember Slava Voinov? Went great for him.
Okay, Slava Voinov.
That's a
yes,
name.
Different level.
It's a very different level.
He threw a table at her.
No. He threw her through a TV. Very different. Very different.
I thought he threw a table as well.
Possibly. I don't know. But
there was a lot of things thrown. People, furniture, things were thrown.
That's just couples.
Voinov, Voinov was a very different case just for the sole purpose of he was a Russian citizen. And very shortly after that, he was sent back overseas and he never returned. He's been in the KHL ever since, as far as I know.
Yes. He tried to come back, but he didn't. They wouldn't lift it.
I think he did eventually get reinstated, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but no team was willing to...
No.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know. I think there's a case to be made either way. Milan Lucic, if he didn't sign with the Bruins, was not going to be on a team. The only reason he's here, as Trevor said, is because his name is Milan Lucic and he has a ring from 2011. So
there's a lot of Lucic jerseys in the stands.
There are a lot of Lucic jerseys in the stands. They will be a fan favorite in Boston for a long time, even after this. But I don't. I see a case.
It might take a while.
It might take a while, but I see. Yeah. I don't know. I see a case for both instances where this is the last we see of Milan Lucic on the ice. He plays maybe a handful more.
I don't think we hear the name much anymore. I don't think we hear much from him. I don't think he plays. I think he just quietly goes away.
We'll see, but
I mean, I think that
all the best this offseason anyway.
Do I think? Yeah,
all the best. I
think that's what's best for his family, himself, and the team. Yes, in an ideal situation, he takes a leave of absence, he thinks about it, and he just retires because there's no need for him to go back on the ice.
So,
and he's got to take time for himself for sure, and the family needs to heal.
From someone who's been in NHL scrums afterwards, let's say that in 3 months he comes back and plays a game. Let's say he plays 6 minutes. Is a -1 with no shots on goal, no penalty minutes.
Right? Very likely.
What are the odds that the media does not immediately request him after the game? I don't care what he does next time. The media wants him.
No, yeah, the media is going to ask for him, especially it's Boston. Like they're going to
Mhm.
ask for him the next time he plays.
He's
so
a story. Boston, don't let it happen. You've already got enough negative press with Mitch Miller.
yeah, and you know what?
It ties together.
It
does.
does tie together, and in that sense, I see the light for your argument, Trevor, that he will not be on the ice ever again. I see that light, but I don't know. There's a lot that
It's
needs
also
to.
Lucic. It's also Lucic.
Yeah,
A lot of people have some good memories of Lucic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. He is officially stepping away from the NHL for at least the time being. It could be for a while, or
It's an indefinite leave. So
which is
Yeah, it probably will be for
it's
quite a
weird
while.
that we're hearing a lot of players not retiring, but saying they're taking a step away from the game. Jonathan Taves, who was the player from a couple weeks ago? We talked about it. We brought his name up.
there's a dude from the Caps. Backstrom.
Oh yeah,
Was it
Nicholas
Backstrom?
Backstrom. Yeah, and both of
Yeah.
them use the same phrase of taking a step away from the game. They're not
Okay,
retiring.
I think it's two different situations with those two.
It is.
Taze, it's because he doesn't have a job and doesn't want to say retire. I think that's what it is.
I mean, he did also say he needed to let his body heal, so the legitimacy of that I get, but
Backstrom he had some career-altering injuries, and he needs to see how his body heals longer.
yeah.
Right? It's more of a medical thing for him. For Taze, it is medical. It is. Taze had some injuries, but I think a lot of Taze is I don't want to say I retired. I don't want to. I'm not ready to retire, even though the NHL is telling me I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Right? Does that make sense? Jonathan Taze is retired, except he doesn't want to say he is yet. So this is how he did it. And I understand that from his point of view. You wanted to come back, and the job wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's fair. It's fine. You have to accept that. Sometimes the sun sets on your NHL career a little earlier than you'd like. I don't think we see Taze play ever again. I don't have a feeling we see Backstrom in any kind of significant role. He might come back just to say I played one game.
I mean, Taves would play until he was 90 if he could. I don't think there would ever be a number that he would get to where he would be like, all right, now it's time.
I think you want to go
you love
once
playing.
more.
I think it's more than likely that in a year, maybe two, we're going to see Jonathan Taves working out with the Winnipeg Jets and see what goes from there. I don't think we've seen the last of Jonathan Taves, at least trying to make a team. Whether or not we've seen him on the ice, different story. But I do think he's going to try, kick the tires, and take it from there.
Do you think just the conversations happen? I don't think he plays, though. I think he tries.
I don't think the conversation has happened because he decided pretty early into the offseason that he was going to take time away this year as opposed to sign with the team. So I don't know.
What players have done that and come back though? I want to know that. Do you remember any saying I'm taking a leave?
Tim Thomas.
Okay, Zach.
He did not really
come back. For the show. We're gonna make a rule for this show. If I ever ask, has another player done this, and you say Tim Thomas, the argument is invalid because Tim Thomas is the most anomaly of an NHL player ever.
That's not true.
It's like if they took David Ayers and he won a Vezina. He just kept winning, so we never took him out of the net. That's Tim Thomas's career. Took a dude. Took a dude.
Well, no, they took a dude. They took a dude. Yeah, he didn't really crack the lineup until he was 30. That's correct. But to be honest with you, this was a guy who that year he won the Stanley Cup. Going into that season, he wasn't the starter. He was not the starter going into that year. It was Tuukka Rask's job that Tim Thomas, not so much usurped, but played better and got it through. So
that's crazy.
But he did take a leave.
So don't ever.
He took a leave after the 11-12 season. Took the entire year off. It was a year after that, and then came back to play a few games for the Colorado Avalanche. So
does it count? Did he come back and have a career?
Not really, but are we talking about did he come back and play a few games on the ice? Yeah, he did.
I guess, yeah. But Tim Thomas doesn't follow the normal rules of hockey. He does what he wants. Just look at a picture of Tim Thomas playing in the National Hockey. And it wasn't Colorado, it was Florida. I don't remember him playing for the Avs. I remember him playing for the Panthers.
Yeah, it's Panthers Stars.
Really? Why do I?
He played for the Stars?
Yeah,
Oh,
8 games.
it's been so long. Yeah. So did Braden Holtby, but I don't.
Who am I thinking of that played for the Avalanche?
You're thinking of Miles Wood because we're always thinking.
Yeah.
of Miles
Okay,
Wood.
that's the sign.
That's
the sign.
that ends it up.
We're
Yeah,
done
we
here.
always
Yep.
have one sentence a show
Yeah.
where it ends the episode on its
I'm actually
own.
pretty proud of myself because
That was what you were. That was your goal.
Yeah.
I love you, Andy.
Yeah.
I really do.
Appreciate
All right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's episode of Wrinkles in the Crease. We will see you next time. Enjoy some hockey.